the people. But afterwards, something has to follow. And the situation, and I don't want to go into this program because you said we are short, but that something has to be done. And I'm so grateful that you said this was the situation in Amsterdam and in Den Haag and in other places. And it can be changed, but it can only be changed with really clear measures on several levels. And it is police, and it is social, and it is, of course, afterwards the sanction, and that's on the level of the justice. And we have, unfortunately, indeed, witnessed a situation which has gone worse during the last.
We need more visible presence of police. They have to go around, not just to drive around. And what's the main? That's what they are doing now. But it's not just what the mayor said. She's right about the police, but we need one more local and more presence. There's also social work, and we have Maurice Bauer, social element in charge of social affairs here. We created out of the blue a new service, à vos côtés, also to be on the side of the people here at GAR, the shop owners, and also to have a clear presence also that they could address their issues and their topics. It's also about urbanism. We are redesigning, reshaping also public space, so it's not true that there was no action because we redesigned Place de Paris. We're going to redesign here Rue de Strasbourg to make it even more vibrant street, so that's also making it safe for them because it attracts other people, it's more lively, so it's not just about police.
No, but I would think the issue is also social, isn't it? Are there enough shelters, and is there enough of a drug policy where people can use their drugs somewhere but out of public sight?
I exactly wanted to come to this point because it's security is really a serious issue, and yeah, we have more police men and women now on the streets. We even need more in the next year, I think. The police had more resources during the last years, and this has to continue. But we have to be honest that it's not only the police work, but also other things. Give you an example on exactly what you told us. The shelters, for example, we know that when we talk about housing first, we have in the city like 25 places to sleep, but we need to double this, and not even to double this, but we need to multiply it by 10. We also know that now we have for exactly the situation of the drug health structure is one big structure, which is also old. It's done in a way that it's really not nice to look. And all the experts tell us that we need to have more and small and adapted structures, which are not all together there, because it's here in the neighborhood. It's some kind of it's a dangerous mix of everything is together here. So we need to have more different structures. And I think what's important is that we try to give honest answers to this. We have to work on the different plans, police work, also social work. Give honest answers. When we talk now about the local police, I have to tell I'm member of the parliament now for 5 years, so I'm not as long in the parliament as Serge Wilmers and Lili Polfer, but I know that the reform of police reform, to be honest, this will not be done in 2 or 3 or 4 years, but it will take a long time. So let's use all the possibilities we have to do something now, and we have some. Police have to do more, but also we have to make urbanism. Serge said it. I think the Avenue de la Gare have a lot of potential to have a better urbanism. On the other hand, social policies, and for sure the police has to have also to do what has to be done.
Last word for the mayor.
No, something has to change. It's the biggest frustration of a mayor, but not only me, also the mayor in Asch, and also the mayor in Dudelange, and also the mayor in Defadange. People see in the city, in the mayor, the person who is in charge of their security. And in many laws it is even foreseen that the security is with the mayor. For example, if there is a manifestation, the mayor has to give has to see how it is organized to be able to keep security. But the mayor, and not me, it's all the others, and be it me or another one, it's mayor, has no authority about the police. So you are responsible for something where you have no way to really give in this responsibility, and that's insane. It's really insane, and there must be found ways to give a direct possibility to the mayor, whoever it is, to be in charge of this responsibility of the security.
Thank you. I want to open the floor for questions from the audience. I see many hands go up. I think we have to give up 2 other microphones here.
Thank you. I have a question. We have 4 parties represented here. It's normal, it's the 4 biggest parties, but we have 9 parties that are actually standing for elections. So there are 2 which are already represented at the level of the Conseil Communal, and then 3 new ones. Focus, I think they hope that they can make a representation. They have some names on their list. You have Pirates, they already have a national representation, so they are hoping that they will have a local representation. And we have the Miert Volk, I don't know much about them, but it sounds like COVID.
Neither do they.
Huh?
Neither do they.
Okay, good. But my question is, if they get votes, they will take them from somewhere and potentially from you, which means that a 2-party coalition in the future, as on national level, might not be possible anymore. Is that something that you have on your mind, that you are contemplating, that actually all of you will have to work together in the future in order to have a majority?
Let's speak about it on the 11th in the evening. Huh?
Yes, good evening. Thank you so much for the answers. Regarding the drug and the criminality around this neighborhood, I live in Bonnevoie, but it's of course a Marabois. Did you ever came up in your mind maybe to a campaign actually asking the consumers not to use drugs because there's a demand for it? And I think it's not the obrigado, the foreign people going there, that they may create this market. They're actually people using cocaine, speed, LSD, young people, old people, all sort of different classes. Never thought of it, of actually asking them, hey, why do you even consume? You are creating, first of all, environmental effects, because these chemical waters are just bent into the nature, not going brought to the Superdrex que Rotterdam, but all of those little things, I think. What do you think about it?
I give a first answer to this. We asked during this whole debate to create a local drug plan where we also can consider all these questions. There's a national drug plan, let's say, with all the actions going to it, and it would be important also to have information about this, to have better answer at the city level, yes.
But as everybody can understand, this is really a national competence. It's not a drug plan for one commune or one city. It's really national, and we need it, and we absolutely need it. But something has to be done. We are going to not legalize cannabis, but l'encadrer. No? And not later than this morning, we received those persons who will, and we organizing a campaign to really inform people and parents and youngsters what can be the outcome of this and that goes that should go also for those drugs that you just mentioned and which are indeed very much asked for.
Well, also,
If there were no market, there would be no dealers.
no, it's yeah. I don't think the issue is with soft drugs here in the neighborhood, but
No.
Thank you. I do find it slightly ironic that the 2 first questions are asked by Luxembourgers as opposed to the title, which is voting rights for expats, but hey ho, that's fine. Oh, sorry, apologies. I don't know where to start with this. 70% of Luxembourg City is foreigners. 81,000, you said the number, so that's nearly 50%, more than 50% of voters. 65% of businesses, if not more, are run by foreigners. 70% of the workforce is foreigners. I'm a foreigner. I've given my all for this country, with passion, to do good for this country. A large proportion of the economic wealth, which is a term, Ms. Pulfer, you used, is created by foreigners. I'm sure many people in this room who love and adore this country and work for this country and work hard for this country have maybe a similar question. I don't know why I should vote in the city elections. Nobody has told me what difference you guys make with my vote. I don't understand the difference. Never has it been communicated to me what difference my vote makes for me as a foreigner living in this city. I don't get it. I don't get why I am beginning to feel like a second-tier citizen coming up to the elections where policies, what I'm hearing, are generally being positioned towards the fracture that occurs, the Luxembourg population. When you talk about economic wealth, where housing wealth, which is huge in Luxembourg, I mean, our economic wealth as foreigners, particularly those coming in within the past 5 years, is dwindling massively because of the cost of housing, where a mortgage for a 50 square meter house, you're talking about getting 600,000-700,000. The average mortgage in Luxembourg is only 200,000, and 40% of property has no mortgage. I mean, that's not us in this room, right? And you need us. But we don't feel like you guys talk to us. I don't feel like you talk to us at all. Tell me why we should vote in the city elections.
Very good point. It's something that's, sorry, I didn't say something for security, so I will, I'm not the Luxembourger, so I got the nationality, but I feel more European than anything. There is one big issue that we all have, it's representativity. In our parties, on our list, how many foreigners do we have? I don't know, I know we have 11 nationalities on my list. We should have normally 70% of foreigners if we want to represent what is the city. I don't know how many non-Luxembourgers they have on their list. It's public information. The answer can be quite surprising. You have two more, the law is, and the delay is a little bit weird this year because it's the first year. The limit of registration was yesterday. The campaign didn't even start. So if for the last 5 years you were not interested into voting, actually the problem, I think, what we had in common, we wanted to make you interested into voting. I don't care if on the 17th of April you know for who you're going to vote. I do care if you're registered. It's my job in my party, it's Serge's job and his team, it's Lydie's, Françoise and the other party's job, then to convince you that their ideas will change your life, will change your quality of life, that our policy will have an effect on the housing access that you just mentioned. You're right, 46% averagely of your income as a family will go into your housing. Bloody ridiculous, especially as a foreigner, because I don't have a family that owns land that will give me a house as an inheritance that gained 4, 5, 6, 700% of its value. We have to work for this. We are the 70% of persons that are not voting, and because we are not voting, it do not change. So why should you vote? First of all, for housing. Then, do I convince you, or anyone convince you, that you have 2 more months to decide? The campaign will start officially in a couple of weeks. But housing is the major issue for this community, for the foreigner, for the expat, for the young active. And this is why you should vote, definitely.
Yeah, I don't agree with you, because you good example, Nazia. I reached out to you and to other people, and we met in person. We had lunch, and we discussed, and we agreed also on, because I've told you, you are one citizen of the city, and about the development of the city, and that's because we cannot talk about the foreigners. It's not a generic, there are multiple foreigners. There's not even one British community which is homogeneous. We are all heterogeneous. There are not the French, the Luxembourgers. We are all heteroplates. So it's very complex to reach out to all our fellow citizens, even for the Luxembourgers. But I address these people in normal life because I'm a normal citizen like you and everybody. And I have also a friend of mine who's here in the audience. I met him because he's my neighbor at the playground, and they are not. He's not Luxembourgers, and a lot of them are not Luxembourgers. And it's on a daily basis that I talk to them because they are citizens, and that's the most important thing, to do this in basic on a daily process and way, and not just talk about the foreigners. It's not a group of one group against another group. It's so different, and it's because we did this one-to-one. That's the most effective way. You cannot say it's something, it's not a miracle solution that we can address everybody and everybody says, oh, I got the message now. But that's true for everybody, also for the Luxembourgers.
Well, it goes with all that which is really in the competence of the city. Take, for example, the schools. The primary schools, the playgrounds, the sports facilities, the culture facilities. Paul, allow me not to agree with you when you said you come to Luxembourg not for the good weather there. I agree with you. But you said also not for the cultural events, the music. No, I think what the city of Luxembourg can offer with the government on the level of music, it can show and be compared to many things that you don't find in much bigger cities around us. But all that is in the competence of the city. And of course the circulation, for example, what we were speaking about, the circulation regulations, all that concerns the environment and garbage, how you take off. I mean, look what happens. Are you French? No, if you are not French, but if you were French and you were in Paris or wherever, you see how it is organized, those who take away the garbage. We don't have that here, because our system is really, really very well organized. We have, and that's why I say, I don't want to come back to the security, but we have many people who are working for that. The parks, who takes care of the parks? That's people working for the city of London, and I think they are very well managed. So there is all that where we are directly responsible. And of course, with your vote, you can, our system that, I must confess, is quite complicated. And that we will have to explain it to those 12,600 who have registered.